All right, joining us right now is Rabbi Shmuley Boteach. You may know him. His name is not Botox. Boteach. He's written 500 books. Most famous for two kinds of books you've written. One on kosher sex.
Yes.
A book called Kosher Sex. Another book called Kosher Sutra. I leave that to your imagination.
Right, it's kosher adultery. Yeah. Well, the idea being that we have to have passion, mystery, and sinfulness in relationships. Without sinfulness, even happy marriages are not going to be happy for very long. You were the first person ever on television to say my name right. I can't even speak as I'm in shock.
Shmuley Boteach, come on.
Yeah.
Now, you also are famous, known for your relationship with Michael Jackson. And
well, I'm famous for my looks, and the Michael Jackson thing is sort of peripheral to that. But,
second to your looks.
Yes.
Second to your looks would be the Michael Jackson thing. And it raised a lot of questions. You yourself are a controversial person in many ways, and certainly Michael Jackson's a very controversial person. But strangely, you bonded.
Look, most people are conformists, so I don't see controversy, but I'm prepared to be controversial in order to be an individual. God gave me a gift. It's not better than anyone else's gift, but I'm not going to compromise it just to fit in with people. America is entirely a culture of conformity. I mean, look at the Golden Globes. Everyone's just trying to be famous, and I like people who try to make their mark, whether it's in the arts or whether it's here on TV or whether it's a teacher.
Your gift is that God gave you.
My parents divorced when I was 8, right here in Los Angeles, and I would like to believe that I have a gift for healing. I know how to keep, or I try to keep families together.
But people have accused you of wanting to be famous.
My insecurities are legion. If you guys have a couch, I'll lie down and talk to you about them.
He was going to be a shrink. That is what he said.
You don't need the degree. He's doing a good job. Look, what is fame? Fame is love's cheap cousin. Love is something you get unconditionally for something you are. You're someone's child, you're someone's friend. Attention is something you get very conditionally based on what you do. So as long as you're young and pretty and you can still act, they give you a lot of attention. What Michael and so many of the stars that you just watched at the Golden Globes are facing is something called, PDS, publicity deficiency syndrome. It's where the attention begins to wane, you get a little bit older, people start copying your act. You don't know how to handle that because you equate attention with love, and you feel less loved, you feel less relevant, you feel less significant. And then you start doing all these bizarre things as a preparedness to try to still get the attention.
To get the attention.
And that's why you're seeing so many out-of-control lives. But let's not make any mistake. Michael Jackson was a noble, soft, and nurturing soul who really reached for something higher. The tragedy of his life was that he could never find that higher cause to which he wanted to consecrate his fame. The moment fame becomes something that's all about you, it becomes a burden, a weight so heavy that it will crush you. And we see it happening with more and more people. When I look at some of the people following in Michael's footsteps, and I miss Michael tremendously. I look at the Lindsay Lohans, I look at the Paris Hiltons, and there are so many others whose lives are just careening out of control. Miley Cyrus is going in that direction, and nobody's stopping them. We learn nothing from the lessons of Michael Jackson's death, that the most talented performer of his generation dies at 50 of a drug overdose. Whatever the reason was, clearly, I'm a person who can't sleep, who's in a lot of pain. He's numbing something.
Rabbi, let me stop you from both of you, because we have some tapes and we're going to run out of time. So we need to get to
I'm getting the whole show. You
wounded
me, but
I know you can overcome it.
Okay.
Now this is you and Michael talking. Okay.
I'm constantly playing also. I can't help it. I have every kind of toy, water gun, It's important.
Does it relieve pressure?
It relieves a lot of pressure.
Do you handle pressure well? This is one of the ways you handle pressure?
Yes. Yes, one of the ways I handle pressure is I play or I climb. I like to climb trees. I love climbing trees.
And you have that tree house at Neverland.
I love that. Yeah, by the water. You can hear the water. It's complete therapy for me.
The play is very important to him.
Well, the book, Honoring the Child Spirit, was conversations that me and Michael recorded for the publication in this book. The idea was for him to finally explain himself. Everybody thought he's so odd, he wants to spend time around children. What Michael was really saying is that as we get older, we calcify, we harden, our hearts shrivel a little bit, we become a bit more cynical. And when we expose ourselves to our children as parents, we learn from them how to be more imaginative, more creative. It's Martin Luther King Day. Michael always used to say something very interesting, that kids, they'll play in a sandbox with the white child, the black child, the Latino child. They don't care. They learn these prejudices from their parents. So he believed that we adults have more to learn from our children than they have to learn from us. And to have the biggest star in the world say things like that really was...
Well, you also say, in your own life, you had the thought of raising your kids in the exact image you wanted them to be, and that's a huge mistake.
Huge mistake. You take a hammer and chisel and you try to sculpt them into what you think they ought to be, and you don't allow them to sort of flower and develop. Yeah, you know, I swore to myself as a parent that I wasn't going to make the mistakes that my parents made. And I have, and maybe more. So nowadays I say to my kids, one day you'll be on a date, you'll be telling, oh, my father did this and that. But one thing you will never be able to question is whether or not you were loved, because I always put you first. And
did having children heal Michael at all? I mean, obviously not, but just a little.
Well, that is the most important question, and it's a great question. Thank you for asking it, because it's one that I can't answer. The answer, of course, it healed him. So how did he allow himself to orphan his children, who he loved so much? Michael was an exemplary father. I mean, exemplary. I used to look at the time he gave Prince in Paris. I didn't know Blanket, and I was in awe. They wouldn't go anywhere without him. So when I first heard about his death and that the kids were in the house, that was shocking, because for them alone, he would have lived an eternity. I can't answer that. It's very, very sad.
All right, here's you and Michael talking about playing as a way to bond with children. Play.
If you play, you bond. If you bond quicker through play than any other way. To shaking the hand, even if you have a conversation, it's not as easy as through play. I think it's the best way. And I think just breaking the ice with a good water balloon fight, or, running around together, riding bikes, looking at each other, laughing, smiling. It's the best way to really get to know somebody.
All right, there's so much more to this. So, Rabbis, the book is called Honoring the Child Spirit. It's Rabbi Shmuley Boteach.
Yes, thank you, Shlomo.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you know that about him.
Good to see you.
You revealed it as soon as I came on. Yeah.